Welcome to MMA on the Rocks. My name is Bill Welker. You are listening to episode 254 of the podcast, or you're joining us live on Facebook or YouTube. If you want to catch the show live, subscribe on YouTube, follow the Facebook page, turn on your notifications so you can catch us every time we sporadically go live, because there's no predicting when this show will happen. For those keeping track, today's Sunday, September 5th, Labor Day weekend. Happy Labor Day to everybody. Condolences to all the teachers going back to school next week. I know a lot of you started in Florida. You started a few weeks ago, but I know back up north, Labor Day means back to school. Hope everybody's having a fun and safe Labor Day. I am currently in an Airbnb. Can't tell, the background's a little bit different. I'll talk about that in just a second, along with UFC Vegas 36. We will get into Brunson, Darren Till. Before any of that, let me welcome all the way from the Bat Cave in New Jersey, Jeff El Animal Wilson. Jeff, I just called you the animal Wilson, but in Spanish. I thought I had to translate that for you. How you doing, my friend?
Bill, good translation, and I'm doing awesome. So, Bill, first off, I have to apologize to everybody because from my end, I am actually using my Chromebook from work. Usually I use my laptop that I got from work because my laptop's a little finicky, but so we have two laptops at work. Unfortunately, Bill, I didn't think that I wouldn't have access to the laptop I usually use for the show. It's actually sitting on my desk in my classroom because, Bill, we were supposed to start school, at least my school district, this past week. And Wednesday we had our, kind of like our briefing for the school year and stuff, protocols with everything going on, some team building stuff, which we had. It was a lot of fun. And then with the girls soccer team, we had a scrimmage that day. Bill, but what happened in that scrimmage was right at the end of the game. The scrimmage, luckily, wasn't canceled, but right at the end of the game, Hurricane Ida or Hilda, whoever it is this week, rolled in, and we got, in like 2 minutes, all of our stuff was soaked. So as soon as the game ended, we just grabbed everything, threw it on the bus, and went back to the high school.
You should have just stayed and played a water polo scrimmage.
Yeah, Bill, you don't know how close we were to having a water polo scrimmage on Friday, but Bill, where I work is closer to Staten Island. Mm-hmm. So it's like the New Jersey side, and it's close to Staten Island, and right in between is the Hudson River. And
gross.
Yeah. So, Bill, it was so much rain, and Bill, all parts of New Jersey are all flooded. I don't know if I sent you a picture, but I'll send you one after the show. But Bill, the Hudson River actually overflowed, and a whole bunch of rivers around the town overflowed. So we actually had to cancel Thursday and Friday. School was closed for us, so that's why I don't have my other laptop with me. Because I was under the assumption that I'd be there on Thursday. And I just took my Chromebook with me because I needed to get some work done anyway. Didn't think that I wouldn't be there for almost a week. I won't be in my classroom until Tuesday. So that's why, long story short, that's why I'm on the Chromebook now. And Bill, our soccer field was ruined. There was a whole bunch of garbage on the field from the Hudson River and stuff. And I just want to thank the town that I work in because we had a scrimmage Friday at 4:00. Friday morning, they had a crew out there cleaning up the field for us. Nice. It didn't look as pretty as it usually does, but it looked a lot better than how it looked Friday morning. So I just want to thank the town for taking care of us. But, dude, it was nuts up here, man. It took me 2 hours to get home. And, Bill, I told you this, my front bumper is a little beat up on my car, which, Bill, I'm not complaining at all, man. I'm happy to buy a new bumper because at first I thought I was going to have to buy a whole new car. So yeah. I'm super grateful. We got some water in the kitchen. But, dude, There's some people up here in Jersey who have to find new homes now because of how much water got into their houses. My dad the next day was telling me that he saw a bunch of cars in the street just stranded, just abandoned because they couldn't turn on anymore. They weren't going anywhere. So, you know, my prayers go out to everybody who was affected by the hurricane, not just in New Jersey, but all over the East Coast, man. We got drilled. But anyway, Bill, how are you guys doing on your end?
Yeah, we're fine, man. We didn't get any of that. We got a little rain. It's weird that, you know, you guys got hit up there with the hurricane. Yeah, hopefully most people are safe. You know, you can always get a new car. So hopefully, you know, nobody was in those abandoned cars. I know you had a scary incident yourself going down a side street and your engine got flooded. It's scary stuff, man. You know, the elements are so unpredictable. I guess nobody saw this storm coming. Nobody thought it was going to hit as hard as it did. Like, all the experts were like baffled, like the people who study this stuff and Doppler radar and, you know, whatever else they got, you know, reading astrology. I don't know what they do, Jeff. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. They read their horoscopes. Whatever they look at, they couldn't predict this one. Hopefully everybody's safe. And it's good to hear that you have such a good crew at the school cleaning up the soccer field, because I guarantee that wasn't going on across the river in Staten Island, because that crew would have showed up and like, what are you talking about? It looks friggin' good.
Yeah, dude. And I didn't realize how important it is to like not be in a flood zone, man. Like, there was water. We got to the high school, because that's where we have our like water jugs and stuff that we fill up with water for our players, and like parts of the high school were flooded. So like there was water in the building, man. It was messy, man. So, you know, I'm thankful that we had the 2 days off from school, just because I'm sure people in town needed it, not just so they could clean up, you know, the school buildings, but people probably had to take care of their houses and stuff too.
It's dangerous. Thank you for clarifying what water jugs are used for, by the way.
Yeah, we fill with ice. We fill with water. They're for our soccer players. So.
Yeah, we fill the water jugs up with water for people to drink.
Yeah,
this is the kind of technical insight that you get on MMA on the Rocks, like how to make cocktails and what water jugs are used for. But I went to college with this guy from Staten Island, Jeff, and like Staten Island is the greatest place in the world to grow up, according to people from Staten Island. Like, I was taking this writing class and we had to write about like where we grew up is the greatest place. So we were forced to lie, basically. And then we had to read them out loud. And I'll never forget, this guy is like, and you know, when you're driving down Fifth Avenue, you got to roll your windows up because that's where the garbage dumps are. And that's why Staten Island is the greatest place in the world to grow up. Like, yeah, I mean, it's the whole island is a garbage dump. Like, that's what it was made for. But, you know, one man's trash is another man's treasure, so they say.
Well, I certainly hope somebody believes that.
Dude, he believed it. Like, I had to make some shit up about like why my hometown was the greatest place to grow up, which is like obviously a lie because I'm not raising my kid there. But you know, he believed that shit. He believed, like, you know, smelling those toxic fumes from the landfills, you know, that's what made his childhood magical. It's like some kind of troll character in a Disney movie that like lives in a garbage dump and like thinks it's great. Like, that's
But Bill, on the other side, like every other place he goes to must be amazing to him.
I don't think people from Staten Island go many places. They're like chuds. which is Man, what does CHUD stand for? I'm gonna Google it real quick. It's something like something humanoid underground dweller. I'm pretty sure that's it. I forget what the C is. Feel free to chime in, anybody watching, if you know what a CHUD is. Oh, cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers is what it is, Jeff. CHUD. CHUD. It was a movie from back in 1984, actually. Great year. So that's the year I was born, Jeffrey. All right, before we get into the MMA, I'm sure everybody's curious as to what I'm sipping over here. Labor Day weekend, decided to go for a cocktail, Jeff. You know, I'm normally a neat whiskey kind of guy. And if you've been listening to the show long enough, you know, I don't actually drink things on the rocks. But MMA Neat was a stupid name for a show. So hence we have MMA on the rocks. I made an old fashioned, Jeff. So an old fashioned, traditionally just a sugar cube muddled in the bottom of a glass, bourbon, maraschino cherry, and some orange bitters. Instead of the sugar cube, I made cherry simple syrup. So you take equal parts cherry and water and boil it on the stove with sugar. So like you take a cup of pitted cherries, a cup of water, put that in a pot, and then I would say half a cup of sugar, but some people do like 3/4 of a cup, and just let it kind of boil down. And what happened was I was having some people do some work at my house, and I got distracted talking to them, and I actually burnt the sugar, Jeff. And I think it was a very happy mistake because it made it taste so much better. So it's like a burnt sugar, like a caramel cherry syrup now. So that's what I use to make this old fashioned, along with like a couple of the chunks of the cherries. One of my biggest pet peeves is maraschino cherries in cocktails. Like they look pretty because they're like the bright red, but they just taste like garbage to me. It's got to be black cherries. If I order a Manhattan somewhere and it has a black cherry in it, then I know that bartender knows what they're doing. And it's very important to me. I'm very passionate about it. So I like the darker cherries. I just feel like they have the more savory sweetness to them. So burnt cherry, simple syrup, Old Forester 100 proof. Old Forester, as you guys know, one of my favorite distilleries. I'm like such an Old Forester fanboy. I love pretty much every expression that comes out of that place. And orange bitters. And that's my old fashioned for my Labor Day cocktail. Pretty simple. You know, it takes you about 10 minutes to make this simple syrup, or like 12 minutes if you want to burn the sugar like I did and get that more like kind of smoky, caramelly flavor to it. But that's it. That's what's in the glass. On the rocks, Jeff. For once, there's a drink on the rocks on MMA on the rocks. What do you think? Did I sell you on my cocktail making abilities?
Bill, I'm definitely going to have to try it. I'm actually not a big fan of old fashions, just because I don't. So I like drinks that taste fruity, but I don't like actually having fruit in the drink. It's weird to me, and I know that sounds weird to everybody else. But Bill, I'm a creature of habit.
But,
yeah,
because a lot of places will put like the orange peel in it too.
Pass.
I don't like it. I don't like my old fashions to taste fruity either. That's why I kind of I like this burnt sugar taste I have going on. Mark says he'll drink yours, Jeff. So yeah, and you make one. You send him the booze soaked fruit, and then you drink the rest of it.
Wait, Bill, didn't we try that one time? Was that with
What?
you that I tried that some fruit that was just like sitting in booze? Did we do that?
Oh yeah, we've done like moonshine peaches, I think.
Yeah. I remember not liking those.
Yeah.
But I think we got those at a store somewhere though.
Yeah. I've done like I've experimented with my own infusions and stuff. I like doing that. I made I made a bacon-infused whiskey once, Jeff.
I remember that because I remember the chunks of bacon in it and just liking that so much. It was so good, dude.
Yeah, for anyone who's curious about how to do that, you just put like some whiskey in a mason jar, and when you cook the bacon, you just wait for the grease to cool down a little bit and pour the bacon grease right into the mason jar with the whiskey. Cheers to my boy Eddie Law from the Keyboard Warriors podcast. Thanks for checking in, sir. You pour the bacon grease into the mason jar with the whiskey, leave it for, I'd say, 2 to 4 weeks, and every day try to just shake it up like twice a day, because obviously the fat will render and rise to the top. So just shake it up, and then to make sure it really, mixes in with the whiskey. And turn it upside down every now and then. And then in 2 to 4 weeks, you got yourself some bacon whiskey, and you can make old fashions with it. It's very like oily, very rich. Like, obviously it tastes delicious. Like whiskey and bacon, how can you go wrong? Like, two of the greatest flavors ever created. Like, I can't name a better combination, Jeff. I mean, you would stump me if you came up with one. I don't know. Is there anything better than whiskey and bacon? Like, how do you top that?
I don't know, but Bill, yeah, I remember the bacon whiskey was definitely one of my favorites. I remember you were still living up here. I think you were still at the Weehawken apartment when we had that.
Yeah, I do think I was still living in Jersey. I'm gonna get a little day drunk today, Jeff. If that's all right with you.
Bill, I'm all for it, dude.
I'm pouring myself another Old Forester 100 proof here. I'm just pouring it right on top of like the remains of my cocktail. So like I'll slowly like fade myself into drinking straight whiskey for the rest of the day. You got to ease into it. Here's some exciting news, Jeff. My daughter can swim.
Nice.
We found out. So by the way, I'm in Venice right now. Florida. Not Italy. Venice, Florida. We just went away for, the long weekend. We had an Airbnb credit that we didn't even know we had, because we have a property on Airbnb. They give you a credit every year, apparently. So we're like, all right, let's go away for Labor Day weekend. So, about 2 hours south, we're around Siesta Key, Sarasota area. Airbnb and like this nice little resort complex. They have a pool and a splash pad and a playground. So we're just kind of chilling for the weekend. But my daughter jumped off the steps of the pool. And for those of you who don't know, my daughter's 3. She jumped off the steps of the pool and actually swam to me underwater. So she hasn't had swimming lessons or anything. I guess it's just like a instinct, I guess kids have. And she taught herself to swim. So proud father moment. So I'm going to celebrate with some of this 100 proof Old Forester here. But big news, Jeff.
Dude, that's awesome. Good for Ariana. And dude, I was looking at some pictures of you guys out in Venice. I was a little disappointed that you weren't in Italy, but I was very excited because, dude, Ariana's getting big, man. Like, I haven't seen her in person in a little bit, but she's getting huge, man.
Not since Christmas.
Was that the last time?
Yeah. That's the last time we were all up there together.
Oh man.
We'll be up there in a few weeks, so.
All right. Well, yes. I remember we talked about that. Bill, in the morning we're gonna have practice, but wait, hold on. I gotta check my schedule. But because we have a Saturday game. Oh no. Okay, no. That this Saturday coming up we have the game.
We'll figure it out, Jeff. We got like a week and a half to sort this out.
Yeah. And those girls are driving me nuts anyway, so I can miss a practice.
Dude, I can't deal with 2 of them. I don't know how you deal with a whole team.
Bill, there's so much drama going on in like the last week that I could tell you about, but it would take up our whole hour time slot.
Yeah.
So,
all right, let's not
leave
do
it
that.
for
Yeah,
Let's
save it for your.
Let's get into some violence, Bill. This is how men resolve problems.
Yes, but before we talk about UFC violence, I got to give a big shout out to one of the members of my gym. I guess I could say one of my students that I coach, Gabriel Schaefer, the golden boy, made his Muay Thai debut last night at Leo Code in Orlando. First round head kick knockout, Jeff. So proud of this kid. I've seen him working hard in the gym. He's been training less than a year, and the kid is just a natural. He's like 20 years old. He's going to have an awesome Muay Thai career, MMA, whatever he wants to get into. So proud of him. And yeah, that was awesome. So that's Muay Thai debut. And here's my daughter making a cameo on the show.
That's awesome.
Ariana, say hi to everybody. And say bye to everybody. She's got her magic wand and everything.
Oh,
She's
man. Dude, that's awesome for your teammate, man.
Say hi.
Hi.
Here are the girls that I have zero control over.
I'll trade both of them for the 26 that I don't have control over. But Bill,
actually, I'm not going to make that trade. Ariana, you're being broadcasted to the world right now, sweetie.
Bill, tell Claudia that I started wearing a hat outside so that my skin wouldn't look like old beef jerky.
I will do. Jeff said he started wearing a hat outside, so his face won't look like old beef jerky. This is my little swimmer, everybody, who swam for the first time in the pool today, and I'm so proud of her. And I'm so proud of my boy Gabe, who won his fight, first round head kick knockout. I wish I could have been there, but we had this trip planned, and he kind of got the fight like last minute. So I would have loved to be there, but I know he was in good hands with my Muay Thai coach, Matt McCusker from MJM Muay Thai in Clearwater, as well as JR Ridge, our boxing coach, who's just awesome dude, great energy. He had a great corner behind him in that fight, and really proud of that kid. It was a nasty knockout, Jeff. I'll send you the clip on Instagram, and I'll see if I can share it for the rest of you as well on Instagram at MMA on the Rocks. But yeah, that was that. I'm really proud of that kid. Can't stress that enough. I'm almost as proud of him as I am of my daughter for swimming in the pool this morning.
Nice. That sounds like the best deal in town.
You know it, kid. So another bit of news. My other buddy, Mr. Billy Quarantillo, who you all know, UFC featherweight, just signed to fight Anthony Burgos on November 6th, I believe it is, at Madison Square Garden, Jeff.
Nice.
So, yeah, big shout out to Billy. I know he's looking forward to fighting in front of a crowd again. That's a huge fight for him. And, man, I don't even care what side of the fence you are on, like who you're rooting for. Like, how do you not love that fight? Those are two guys who bring it every single time. Cardio for days, nasty hands, nasty striking. They both can grapple. Like, this is fight of the night potential again. Billy Q could be looking at back-to-back fight of the night bonuses here. So I'm so happy for my boy. So much good news this weekend, Jeff. Like, obviously, so much bad news as well with the hurricane up by you guys and everything. But as far as the fight world is concerned, a lot of great news. I love to see good people doing well. So I'm happy for my man Gabe with his debut head kick KO, and I'm happy for my buddy Billy getting a big like marquee fight. Like the last fight, he got the fight of the night bonus. He got a lot of buzz. This fight is like a marquee fight. Like I feel like this could be like a fight night headliner. This one, but give me your thoughts, Jeff. Billy Q and Burgos at Madison Square Garden, right in your backyard or front yard or wherever you consider it.
Yeah, dude. I love fights at the Garden because the path train from Jersey City to I think it's 34th Street.
Mm-hmm.
You walk like one block and you're walking into the Garden. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
Really easy to get to. Don't know how comfortable I feel about actually going with everything going on, but I'm so excited for Billy Q, man. Gets to fight on one of the biggest stages. He's going to have an audience. I think he absolutely deserves it. And Bill, I'm not just saying that because he's a friend of the show, but I'm a genuine fan of his, man. He creates chaos in there. And from that chaos, he finds order, which I love seeing that in jiu-jitsu too. Fighters who can create scrambles and then end up on top, man. Really exciting fighting style to me. So I cannot wait, man. And Burgos is a really tough dude. It's going to be a test for both of these guys in the featherweight division.
For sure. Yeah, I'm stoked. Like, just as an MMA fan, I'm stoked for that fight. You know, put aside the fact that Billy's my friend and I've trained with him, and you know he's had some awesome moments here on the podcast. If you've never seen Billy on the show, go to the YouTube channel and you can click on the highlights playlist, and Billy's in there a few times, I believe. Which I need to do some work, Jeff, and like update that highlights playlist because I'm the worst at it. I'm like a plug and play podcast host. Like I turn this on for an hour every week. I put it out there to the world, and they're like, I don't do much else. I'm not great with social media. I don't like cut up clips and stuff. If anybody wants to volunteer to do that, like I'll give you all the passwords and everything. Like if you want to start making highlight clips or like best of reels, I don't know, whatever people do, contact me and we'll work something out. I'll send you a t-shirt or something. But in any case, yeah, big congratulations to Billy Q. That's going to be a huge fight. I don't see how you could not be excited about that fight if you're a fan of mixed martial arts, which obviously you are if you're listening to the show, unless you're like my mom, who occasionally listens to the show and is not a fan of mixed martial arts, but she likes to hear us talk about it for whatever reason, Jeff. Because moms are proud. Yeah, so we're about a half hour in now, Jeff. I suppose we could talk about the fights from last night. That was a thing.
Yeah, Bill, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't realize how early this card was. So I watched the main card and the final prelim. I know you wanted me to watch another prelim, which unfortunately I didn't get to, but I am going to watch it after the show. So, Bill, let's just go through this, man.
I'll talk you through it, and I'm sure I'll sell you on it. Yeah, I didn't get to watch this one live either because we were here away for the weekend. The wife has like a friend she went to high school with who lives in the area, so we went and hung out with her family and her kids and went out to dinner and all this. So I'm always complaining about how late the fights start, Jeff, and I didn't end up watching this card until 10 p.m. last night anyway. So it's like I'm destined to watch these fights late at night no matter what. But yeah, I enjoyed this card. It was good. I was a little tired while I was watching it, I'll admit, but a great night for the country of England, except for the main event. Derek Brunson just absolutely dominated Darren Till. Got the submission round 3, 2 minutes, 13 seconds. But before that, it was all Derek Brunson. I mean, Till might have landed like a couple of stiff jabs, maybe like a 1-2 here and there, but I did not feel there was any point that Darren Till was in control of this fight. This was all Derek Brunson. And all the credit to Derek Brunson, too. I mean, he's looked great in his last fight, in every fight since the loss to Israel Adesanya, actually. But to me, Darren Till looked flat. He did not look the same. His body seems to have changed a little bit. I don't want to say he looked soft, but he didn't look like as rock solid as he normally looks, if that makes sense, Jeff. I mean, this is a guy who in the past has looked like he was carved out of stone, and now maybe carved out of gold. I don't know, because gold is a little bit more malleable, like something softer than stone, but still, looked in way better shape than I ever will. But I don't know. He just didn't look the same to me, Jeff. Give me your thoughts on this main event here and the performance by Derek Brunson.
Yeah, Bill, I'm gonna do that, and then I got a question for you. But Bill, I agree with you, man. Darren Till, he didn't really show up last night, man. Some people, and I'm mostly saying the commentary team said that Darren Till was looking good on his feet, but the fight wasn't really on the feet. I mean, Derek Brunson in that first round, he took Till down one time, and that was the rest of the round.
Yeah,
was Till on his back, eating damage, man. Once Derek Brunson, fixed his posture and started raining down bombs, I mean, it was looking bad for Till. His right eye was left eye was almost completely closed at the end of that first round. I thought it was going to be a doctor stoppage, not at the end of the first round, but maybe at the end of the next round. And I'll give it to Darren Till. In the second round, he defended takedowns a little bit better. But once Brunson, he just needed to take him down maybe one time. I think there was a point in the first or second round that Till was able to actually get up. But we didn't see that happen very often.
Yeah, and it was just because of Brunson giving a little space in the transitions. It wasn't because Till was actively looking to get back to his feet. Sorry, continue.
No, you're absolutely right. And yeah, I think that rear naked choke was just a matter of time. I mean, Till rolled over onto his stomach, and you kind of figured it was over from there. But yeah, man. I mean, Darren Till, in between the first and second rounds, he was saying he was feeling good. He felt like Brunson was getting tired. And in my head, I was like, that's not what's happening, dude.
and we know from his last fight that even if Brunson gets tired, that's not going to stop him. Like, that dude can be exhausted and still find that next gear. I mean, 2-time Division II All-American in wrestling. And, Jeff, as well as anybody, wrestlers have that extra gear. They just have that grind mentality where, like, okay, I'm tired. My body doesn't want to work anymore, but it's fucking going to. And that's that gear that Derek Brunson has. Like, you think you feel him getting tired? Great. You still have like another 45 minutes in that gas tank that you have to look forward to. So have fun with that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And Bill, it's just more of the same of what you were saying. It was all Brunson, dude. I don't know what was going on with Darren Till, but Brunson also really didn't give Till space to get his offense going, because we know Till has the Muay Thai. He's good from range. He's got kicks. His clinch is really good. But I felt like Brunson just wouldn't allow that, because he was attacking the legs a lot. He was attacking, just going for takedowns and stuff. So really, Till never got his offense going. And Bill, my question to you is, in terms of Darren Till and how he looked physically last night, do you think maybe he might have had a tough weight cut and that might have something to do with it?
I mean, it's possible, but I don't know, man. He had the injury. Maybe he wasn't fully recovered, but the man's got a family. He's got kids with at least one woman. He's got to work. So maybe it was a case of got to go to work, got to get that paycheck. It's going to be a main event. Like, even if I lose, I can't fall much further down the ladder. Kelvin Gastelum just had a main event and, lost his 5th fight in the last 6 fights or whatever it is. Go collect that paycheck, get a few more social media followers, maybe get another sponsor or something, like a social media sponsor. I don't know. Just make a little money. Or maybe Derek Brunson was just that good. You can't rule that out either. I mean, the guy just keeps getting better and better. But every time I think about this fight, I think about, Till got taken down. He was doing nothing to get back up. He was staying in like an open half guard, which must have been frustrating for Michael Bisping to watch doing the commentary, because I know they're buddies, Darren Till and him. They have they break each other's balls and everything like that. Fellow countrymen. But Bisping was the master. Like, he didn't have the greatest takedown defense, but he was the master of getting back to his feet. He would get his back up against the cage, and he would wall walk back up and get the fight to where he felt he had an advantage in the striking, even with one eye. So to watch Darren Till just kind of accept being on the ground. But then again, those takedowns from Brunson, man, he would lock his hands and then pull Till away from the cage when he finished the double leg. That was so smart, I thought. And I wasn't listening to the commentary, so I don't know if Bisping was frustrated or not. But like, being on the call, he must have been, because like that's his jam. And then even when Brunson got the choke in, Till didn't fight the hands or anything. Like, he was looking for a way out of there. As soon as Brunson locked up the choke, he just tapped. Like, he didn't fight it at all. Which I understand, like, doing jiu-jitsu for 10 years or so, like, sometimes the choke just falls right on the windpipe the right way, and there's no opportunity to fight it. But like, he wasn't defending anything on the ground. There was just no resistance, really, which was sad to see. But yeah, I know I just threw a lot of, like, I guess, half-assed analysis your way, Jeff, but what's your reaction to any or all of that?
Yeah, Bill. I think that the biggest point there is what Brunson was doing. Like you said, and the commentary team talked about this as well. I believe DC especially, where Brunson pulled Till's hips, and then instead of turning him towards the cage where Till would have that space to kind of wall walk back up, Brunson would turn him around and put him almost in the middle of the octagon. Bill, in pro wrestling, we call that no man's land. We call it that for a reason, because in pro wrestling, you can't get to the ropes to break up submissions and stuff. So to me, that's what I saw Brunson doing. And I think that was such a good move, because a lot of fighters, not just Michael Bisping, but a lot of guys who have trouble on their backs, they'll rely on that wall to shimmy their way back up, like you said, walk their shoulders up. Bill, on the wrestling mat, you don't have that. So you have to be able to fight your way back up and get out of those bad spots. So, in terms of grappling, that cage, using it as a wall almost, it can kind of even the odds a little bit when it comes to grappling. And Derek Brunson knows and understands this, and he would not allow that. So I think it's a huge, tactical analysis by Derek Brunson to have that fight IQ and to not allow that to happen.
Do you think that Derek Brunson we've seen in the last 5 fights can compete with the champ, Israel Adesanya?
That's a really tough question, Bill. I want to say yes, but at the same time, Adesanya himself has been evolving. And take away the fight with Jan Blachowicz, because I was a different weight class, and Jan Blachowicz is gigantic. But Izzy knows, and he's starting, and I feel like he's been working on his grappling a lot, just because of the opponents they put in front of him in the middleweight division. Marvin Vettori, who's a little bit, sound grappler. Not going to say great grappler, but a pretty sound grappler for mixed martial arts. Robert Whitaker, who, was able to get a win on off Jacare in the grappling department. Huge feather in his cap. He was training for him. I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head, but dude, I think Izzy as much as I want Brunson to do well against him, because I'm a fan of Derek Brunson, Izzy Adesanya has a good IQ as well for the sport. And, he's already beaten Brunson once, and he beat him at a time where his grappling, and I mean Izzy here, his own grappling was a little bit more rudimentary for MMA, whereas now it's a little bit more evolved. But at the same time, I think that if Brunson can employ some of the stuff that he used last night against Darren Till and, neutralize that offense on the feet, I think Brunson can find a lot of success. So, Bill, I'm really fascinated by this, man. This is like a chess match to me, dude, because they've already played each other. Izzy won that fight, but now they've both had time to evolve their games.
Yeah.
And Brunson, I feel like, last night, I'm sure he took Darren Till very seriously, but Darren Till fights very similarly to Israel Adesanya in that his bread and butter is in that striking, in that Muay Thai department. So I feel whereas Izzy is more kickboxing. So I feel like he could have used that to kind of as like a scrimmage for what Israel Adesanya is going to do.
For sure. I would have loved to see Adesanya and Till, man. That's just a fight that I want to see. Not that I would have rooted against Derek Brunson or anything, but I just want to see that fight. And it seems like it's starting to enter Tony Khabib territory, where it's like every time it's within grasp, it gets pulled away, just out of reach. I think the Brunson that we've seen in the last 5 fights could definitely compete with Izzy much better than the first time, because he's much more composed now. He doesn't rush in as much. The striking obviously he's still going to be at a huge deficit to Adesanya, but he was at a huge deficit in the striking to Darren Till, and that didn't seem to be an issue. The problem is that he would have to get Adesanya's blessing for that fight to happen, because the first fight, it was a quick knockout. Like, Adesanya made him look like he didn't even deserve to be in there with him. So it's going to be on him to decide. And look, Robert Whittaker has absolutely earned another title shot, and he might get passed over for it just because Adesanya is like, well, Cannonier is somebody different, and he looked great against Kelvin Gastelum. So, just for parity's sake, I might give him the shot. And, Adesanya is kind of in the position where he can kind of call his shots because he's that big of a star. So I don't know what happens here. If I'm Derek Brunson, to play it safe, I'm calling out somebody else. I'm picking a fight. Like, if the fight with Whittaker doesn't happen, I'm saying, like, hey, I'll fight Robert Whittaker again, and it'll go a lot different than the last time, and he'll be more likely to get that rematch. That would be my advice to Derek Brunson. Like, just go out there, get another fight right away with another top guy so that you can't be denied. Because at this point, he doesn't have enough leverage to overcome how the first fight went. All right. Long time spent on that main event. Let's go to the co-main event. Tom Aspinall, redeeming England before it needed redemption with this knockout of Sergey Spivak, who took this fight on short notice, and probably the toughest test for Aspinall that he's seen yet. Man, this guy is so athletic, so explosive for a heavyweight. That step in knee to the elbow combination was just beautiful. Performance of the night bonus. How much more can you put Tom Aspinall over? I mean, co-main event, spectacular finish, performance of the night bonus. Give me your thoughts here, Jeff.
Yeah, Bill. Great performance from Aspinall. And Sergey Spivak is no easy task in the heavyweight division, man. He's got a lot of power. He's got a lot of staying power. But yeah, I'm really impressed with Tom Aspinall, dude. Looks great for the heavyweight division. Looks like a light heavyweight, actually, to me. But Bill, I thought that knee elbow combo was gorgeous, man. And he caught the elbow right on the break, right as they were separating from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see as soon as he lands it, he cracks Spivak right above the eyebrow. And Bill, you know this, man. When you get cracked in the forehead, there's just so much blood supply going there that it just spurts out everywhere. But man, he didn't look like he was in too much trouble. And like you said, Spivak, a good test for him in this heavyweight division, man. But really impressed, and a great performance from Tom Aspinall. Those last minute changes are never easy, so good on him.
Yeah, I mean, and let's not forget that he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu and hasn't seemed to really need it so far. He looks like Frank Mir's son, and he's got the grappling to go with it. So I think big things in the future for this guy. I feel like he doesn't make a lot of noise outside of the cage. He seems like a very humble, respectful guy, but doesn't want to call anybody out. And he's creeping up on that top 10 anyway, just because heavyweight is so kind of watered down right now. I don't know if that's the right phrase to use or not, but that's what I would say. Our buddy Mark thinks that Aspinall will be champ by 2023. Who knows? Heavyweight is one of those divisions, he could go on a tear, but he could also, get KO'd in his next 3 fights. Like, there's no way to predict this division. Like, There's no, like some other divisions, there's like a clear path and you can kind of see. But the heavyweight is like, you can get in there with somebody who's not even that skilled, who would just knock your block off and then, throws your whole momentum off. You never fight the same again. But yeah, 2023, Tom Aspinall with a belt around his waist. I can see it. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah. Probably the later half of 2023. I could see it. I mean, unless Cyril Gane or Francis Ngannou have anything to say about it. But Bill, I know this is a little premeditated, but I think that would be an exciting fight. Once Aspinall gets some more experience in there, have him go off against Gane, I think that would be really fun to watch.
Yeah, and you would think Gane would be a lot bigger, but I think Aspinall is just one of those guys who's like a lot bigger than he looks. Moving on down for the sake of time, Alex Morano, a unanimous decision over David Zawada. I got to be honest, Jeff, I was in and out with this fight. I thought it was close. Like, it seemed like a pretty back and forth fight to me, but then it was 30-27 on all 3 judges' scorecards. Like, I would have thought, I think Morano won the fight, but I thought Zawada maybe would have gotten around somewhere in there. But I don't know. This one was just fell a little flat for me. I think I might have been tired. I don't know. Changed my mind, Jeff.
It's kind of hard to for me, Bill.
All right, don't then.
But I do agree. I felt like the fight was closer than what the scorecard said. I felt like Zawada really came back in that second round to make it a fight. But Morano in that third round just turned it up another level. And, I think Zawada just couldn't deal with the pressure. Especially Morano was throwing in some grappling in that third round. And Zawada looked like he was just too tired to continue, making a fight out of it.
Yeah. I thought the first round at least was, pretty even. Like, Zawada had his moments in there. I don't know, man. For me, these are 2 guys that are such technical, high-level fighters that just don't grab my attention. I don't know how else to word it, but, like, I probably won't remember this fight. You would have to remind me of like spectacular performances that either of them have had in the past. And that's just where I am with it. Like, they just don't stand out to me, even though they are both, very high level fighters. But that's just where I am with these 2. Am I far off base, Jeff?
No, I think this fight, because of how close it was, I think it'll be a little bit difficult to remember. But take nothing away from these two guys. They're definitely fighters I want to see again in the cage. Maybe just not against each other.
Mm. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to probably the most gruesome finish of the night. Khalil Rountree against Modestas Bukauskas. This fight was all Khalil Rountree. I mean, he bell to bell until halfway through the second round when this thing ended. He was pressuring. He was pushing forward. I think Rountree looks like a beast back at 205. His striking is nasty. His Muay Thai is super legit. He's lived in Thailand for a few years now. The finish was crazy, but he also put Bukauskas in the Andrei Arlovsky Nose of the Month club, busting his nose up in the first round. Just relentless pressure. And then the finish, man. That oblique kick that hyperextended the knee, that was nasty. And apparently the doctors said that Bukauskas blew out his ACL, MCL, and whatever other CLs are inside the knee, just destroyed. That was a nasty maneuver. Rountree even said he had been practicing it, but, never really executed it to its full potential because he didn't want to injure his training partners. Like, if anybody ever said that to me, like, oh, if I did this like full strength, I would really seriously injure someone. That would be like some Steven Seagal shit, like that he would say, like, oh, well, if I actually use this Aikido on you, you would die, so I can't do it. But it happened to be true with Khalil Rountree. Just destroyed the knee of Modestas Bukauskas here. Give me your thoughts on this fight, Jeff, because to me, this was the most cringeworthy, like, most just like gruesome, like give you chills fight of the night.
Yeah, dude. And Bill, I'm not a big fan of the oblique kicks since John Jones has been doing them because of what happened last night, man. And I didn't realize. Oh, what happened?
I was just telling Old Forester to sponsor me.
There you go, Bill. Just subliminal message them, and they'll come around.
You want to be a sponsor of the show, Old Forester? Here's your label. I love it.
But Bill, like I was saying, man, not a big fan of the oblique kicks because of this reason, dude. Hyperextended the knees so bad and just, you heard Bukauskas just scream out in pain as soon as he hit the floor, man. And I didn't realize this at first, but then watching the replay, I was looking at it and I'm like, dude, I think this guy blew his knee out. Like, it just looked so bad. Like the knee does not bend the way that Rountree made it bend last night. He basically curb stomped his knee, man. Like, that was bad.
Yeah, it was pretty gruesome. And like curb stomping is that's a good kind of analogy there. And I have torn my ACL, Jeff, and I have torn my MCL. When I tore my MCL, I was severely inebriated. So I didn't feel it that much. Like, I heard the pop, but the recovery wasn't fun. When I tore my ACL, I was moving out of my dorm in college freshman year, and I was like, there had obviously already been damage to the knee from years of wrestling and high school lacrosse as well. Did a lot of damage to my knees. But I was carrying this big trunk of clothes or whatever was in it down the steps, and I hit the last step and kind of hyperextended my knee, and there was like a piece of bone in the back of my kneecap that was hanging off, like hanging by a thread, I guess. And when it disconnected, it sliced my ACL, and it was the worst pain I've felt in my life. Feeling that tear, it was brutal, man. Like, I wouldn't wish that pain on anybody. And being like this stubborn boy I was at the time, my dad was there. Like, he picked me up from college and he helped me move out of my dorm. And he was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I tried to like brush it off and like put the trunk in the car. And I got in the car and I sat down, like, so relieved. And my dad was like testing me. He's like, "Are you sure you're fine? Like, it seems like you hurt your leg or something." And I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm totally fine." Knowing that I had like a 2.5 hour drive to just kind of sit and relax. And he was like, "All right, well, if you're fine, let's go walk around the mall." And he pulled into the mall that was right near the college campus. And I limped around the mall, like trying to pretend like nothing happened, but I was in the worst pain of my life. And yeah, so I was reminded of that when I saw Bukauskas hit the ground and scream out in pain. Like, to have torn the ACL and the MCL and whatever CLs are in there at the same time, like, that guy must have been in fucking agony, Jeff. So, I hope he's okay. Like, hopefully it was just like, ow, that really hurt, and like everything's still intact. Like, I hope nothing was really damaged. But credit to Khalil Rountree, man. What a vicious performance from him.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And Bill, speaking of vicious performances, let's talk about this guy, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. Bill, I like the cut of his jib, man. The hair, it's funny looking. I like that. It kind of reminds me of like,
Johnny from Cobra Kai.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, oh man. And Bill, this was a great way to open up the card, man. This lightweight bout between Pimblett and Luigi Vendramini. And Bill, there were some times where, I'll be honest with you, I hate the way Pimblett fights. He's got his hands down, chin up in the air. Vendramini nailed him at one point, rocked him. And I thought this is it, man. This guy, that's it, man. He's a one-hit wonder. But you know what? He shut my mouth, dude. Was able to come back, Pimblett, with just this ruthless aggression and put Vendramini in a bad spot, put him down, dude. I was impressed. I was a little impressed. I think he's still got a ways to go. But Bill, give me your reaction for this main card opener, man.
Yeah, I mean, Vendramini almost put him out, but then in a post-fight interview, Bisping was like, "Hey, he almost got knocked out there." Pretty sure that's not his job to say that in the post-fight interview. Like, but that's Bisping. He does what he wants. And then Pimblett was like, "Because I'm a fucking scouser. We don't get knocked out." And, like, I mean, the dude just has that it factor, man. He has that star power. And I was thinking the same criticisms as you. Like, when I was watching this fight, I was like, man, he drops his hands. What's he going to do when he gets in there with a Justin Gaethje or a Dustin Poirier or a Michael Chandler? But this was his UFC debut, and I was already picturing him in there with a Justin Gaethje, with a Michael Chandler, with a Dustin Poirier. So what does that say? Like, the kid has the it factor. Like, yeah, he might be lacking technically in the striking department. He's got great grappling. He's got the star power, man. What else can I say about it? Because, I had all the same criticisms as you. He needs to keep his hands up. And if he's in there with, fighter A, B, or C, but I was picturing him in there with those top guys. So what does that say about the experience I had with his fight and with his post-fight and with his interview and all that? It says that the kid's a star. There's no other way to put it. There's no denying it. He had the opportunity to come into the UFC in 2016 and 2018, I believe. Passed it up because he wanted to get some more experience over in Cage Warriors in the UK. I have to be honest, I'm not familiar with his career. I had never really seen a full fight until last night, and I'm sold. The kid's got the it factor. He's got the star power. I'd say, give him a top 15 guide now. So that's where I'm at with him.
Yeah, man, Bill, it's hard to argue with you, man. That whole recency thing, it's definitely, he's definitely one of the performers that I remember, exactly what happened in his fight yesterday. But Bill, I know that neither of us watched all of the prelims, but let's talk about the ones that we did get to see, because I know you saw one and I saw one. There are only 4 prelims.
Yeah, I'm realizing I saw more of this card than I realized. Marc-Andre Barriault, unanimous decision over Dalcha Lungiambula. Pretty one-sided fight. There was a bunch of fouls in that fight as well. Yes, honey.
Go back to the store tomorrow and buy more chips.
All right. My daughter just informed me I have to go back to the store tomorrow to buy more chips. So, breaking news. We're out of chips. My daughter demands that we get more. Jack Shore, unanimous decision over Liudvik Sholinian. That was a pretty back and forth fight. But Jack Shore, coming out on top. Molly McCann, unanimous decision over Yeon Kim. The prelim that I would highlight, Jeff, and this is the one I told you to go back and watch, Julian Erosa over Charles Jourdain. This was a fantastic fight. Jourdain was getting the better on the feet in the first round. The second round, Erosa started to come back, and then in the third round, Julian Erosa just broke Jourdain down and slipped in this Darce choke out of nowhere, because he's got these long, lanky arms. And, Erosa had a hard time in his last fight. Got knocked out, I believe. I think he was being brought in to build up Jourdain in this fight. That's just a guess. And wound up submitting him in the second half of the third round. So, super happy for Julian Erosa. I know he's friends with my buddy Billy Quarantello. They were on the same season of The Ultimate Fighter, season 22. So they built a relationship there. So Billy roots for Julian. So henso facto, I root for Julian. And he came away with a really slick submission victory last night. I highly recommend going back and watching this. I would call it a come from behind victory with a really slick submission. So, what more could you want from a prelim fight, Jeff? I know you would appreciate it, so definitely go back and watch it. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, for sure. So, Bill, let's talk about the final fight on the prelims before the main card, because, Bill, this one fight of the night, and I agreed with the decision. I think it absolutely deserved fight of the night, was Molly McCann versus Yeon Kim. Bill, I unfortunately was only able to catch the last round because I didn't realize what time the card was starting. But, Bill, the third round alone could have been the reason that this one fight of the night, man. Something happened halfway through that round, Bill, where Molly McCann was just like, you know what? No, screw this. Let's go balls to the walls. And she just starts unloading on Yeon Kim. I thought she was going to finish her, actually, before the round was over. Like, it was bad. And at one point, she starts lowering, pointing to the ground and just say, let's fight right here. Let's finish this right here. And, dude, just the energy and the will to keep going for McCann, because she's had a tough couple of fights. I think, actually, let me just double check her record here. But coming off of back-to-back losses. So, defeats Yeon Kim, gets the decision. Bill, I'm going to go back and watch the entire fight all over again because I missed the first 2 rounds. But, dude, seriously, very exciting fight. Great performance from Molly McCann. And it kind of felt like, I know the fights were in Vegas, Bill, but it felt like they were fighting in England, man. As soon as Paddy Pimblett won his fight, Molly McCann actually came out from the locker room and was like right by the cage cheering him on and stuff. So it really felt like like they were fighting in England. It was awesome to see just the camaraderie, man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, great night for Molly McCann. Great fight. Great night for our fighters from across the pond here, Bill. But overall, thought the card was awesome, and I thought that McCann versus Kim really deserved fight of the night. It was an awesome fight to watch. Bill, if you missed that one, definitely go back and watch it.
Yeah, I did miss it, and I will definitely go back and watch it now. This card was supposed to take place in England, I believe, which is why all these English fighters were booked on here, and then they had to move it to the Apex because of COVID protocols or something. I might be making that up. I mean, there was like a week or two ago, I think I said like, and next week is going to be the last fight at the Apex, and then somebody texted me and said like the next 4 fights are booked at the Apex, and I'm like, well, you don't come to MMA on the Rocks for facts. Like you come here for like what I like to drink and what I like to say. And sometimes what I like to say is not the truth. And that's just the way that's just the way the internet works, Jeff. Like at least I'm honest about it. I say some people will just like spew bullshit out of their mouth and tell you like everything they say is gospel. I'm not one of those people. I'll tell you, like, you're probably not getting accurate information here, but like hopefully you're entertained at least. Are you not entertained, Jeff?
Bill, that's all I've ever wanted to do was entertain the masses. Oh man.
Yeah, all I've wanted to do is drink Old Forester 100 proof bourbon and entertain people. So sponsor me, Old Forester. My kid is starting to call for me. But next week, nothing is happening in the UFC. But the week after, September 18th, which I'm going to be in New York for this card, Jeff. So maybe, you make your way up to New York and we can watch this one together. We haven't watched a fight together in forever.
Yeah.
Maybe we do like a live, I don't know. Maybe we'll do something. Anthony Smith, Ryan Spann. Main event. We can talk about this next week too, because we won't have much to talk about next week. But that's the main event. Reaction to that or anything else we got going on here, my friend?
Bill, this past week we had 3 scrimmages with my girls' soccer team. And Tuesday we opened the season. So we got games Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday this week. So it's gonna be a busy week. I'm kind of glad that there's no card this weekend, actually, because this is one of our very few Saturday games. So the timing's good. But yeah, Bill, that's all I got. Hopefully I have some positive news about our record, because our first 3 scrimmages didn't go that well. So hopefully...
But they're just scrimmages. That's just practice. Like they're not trying their hardest. They're just working the kinks out.
Bill, I certainly hope so, because... we need some.
Mark wants a live watch along for the card next week, so that's 1 vote to none for a brawl crawl. So nobody has voted against it. So maybe we should do it. I'll tell you what, this card is looking pretty good, Jeff. Iwan Kutulaba and Devin Clark is the co-main event. Jim Miller, your fellow New Jerseyan, on here against Nicholas Malta. Ariana Lipsky against Mandy Bohm, the undefeated Mandy Bohm. Arman Saryukian against Christos Giagos. Antonio Arroyo, Dana White Contender Series fighter, against Joaquin Buckley. Knockout of the Year award winner Joaquin Buckley. Pani Kianzad against Raquel Pennington. This is a good card, Jeff. We can get it, take a deeper dive next week, but this will be a fun one. Mark said it's been so long that he's forgotten what brawl crawls were called, even though his previous comment was calling for a brawl crawl. I forgot what they were called. We haven't done one in so long, but our schedules just haven't aligned right, Jeff. 5 years of doing this, and we still can't get it down. 5+ years.
Yeah, but look at what's happened in that time. You had a kid, you moved to Florida. I finally held down a job. I mean, it's been madness, Bill.
Your car almost drowned.
Yeah.
Like it's been intense. I've got a guitar behind me for some reason. Jeff, should I take the guitar down and play something for everybody?
Yeah, let's do it. Keep the fans guessing.
All right. Well, talk about something while I grab it.
All right, so me looking at this card, I see some of the fights that Bill mentioned. Cutelaba versus Devin Clark. I think that sounds awesome. Jim Miller, I think he always puts on a performance, so that'll be good. We have Raquel Pennington, who we haven't seen in a while. Very skilled fighter. We have Hannah Goldie versus Emily Whitmire at women's strawweight. I think that's going to be an awesome fight, 2 up-and-comers. And Ariane Lipsky's on here, who, she's a good fighter and all that, but she's really easy on the eyes. So that's always nice.
By the way, Hannah Goldie, fellow Team Reaper represented fighter. So if you want to get some MMA on the rocks gear, hold on. Let me see if I can drunkenly play this guitar and do this promo at the same time. If you want to get some MMA on the rocks gear, visit our friends at Team Reaper. They didn't know they were sponsoring the show, like, to get a musical accompaniment, Jeff. Reaper1.co. That's Reaper, the number 1.co. Use the promo code MMA Rocks 10. That's MMAROCKS 10 for those of you who are spellingly challenged. I think this is our new theme song, Jeff. I don't know what I'm playing.
Sorry, Bill. I'm looking at pictures of Ariane Lipsky.
Mark wants some requests. Stevie Ray Vaughan and Led Zeppelin. Yeah, I'm not that adequate at the guitar, my friend. This just happens to be hanging up behind me in this Airbnb. This is a nice, finger style guitar, though, which is not my forte. For those of you who don't know, I used to play guitar, specifically bass guitar, in some college bands. Little known fact, if this ever comes up on MMA on the Rocks trivia, I appear on a Flaming Lips tribute album, and I can't even tell you what it's called, but I have like a credit on there for 2 songs that I put bass tracks down for. Like, somebody just asked me to do it in college, and I went to a studio and, put the bass tracks down, and then they sent me a copy of this tribute album, and my name was in the credits for, putting the bass tracks down, Jeff. And I was never really a Flaming Lips fan. That was never my thing. It was just something I did, and then my name got put on something. So that was pretty cool. And, not my proudest moment. Like, it's the Flaming Lips. I was not a fan of theirs. But that's it. Bill Flea Weller. No. Oh, thank you for correcting. Welker. But Weller is a fantastic bourbon. Shout out to my buddy Matt Temple, who is also currently on a road trip this weekend and has been sending me pictures of Weller bourbon that he's found in liquor stores, which doesn't happen here in Florida because they have an exclusive contract with a certain liquor store. But what was I saying, Jeff?
Flamin' Lips tribute album.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you said
Yeah,
that
that was
you said they were your favorite band growing up.
yeah. I probably did say that. There was a little Stairway to Heaven right there because Mark requested Led Zeppelin. that's, that's the most I know of it because I don't have the vocals, Jeff. I can play guitar all right, but I don't have that, I don't have that Robert Plant voice. Like, as we wind on down the road. Where were we? Were we ending the show? Oh, Team Reaper. If you want to get some MMA on the Rocks gear, if you find yourself over the top or under the influence or both, you can grab an MMA on the Rocks t-shirt, hoodie, or tank top at reaper1.co. As always, the link will be in the show notes wherever you are consuming this podcast. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are. I'll put a link for you to purchase one of our t-shirts. And I don't know, Jeff, you got anything? Oh, Tyron Woodley and Jake somebody fought over the weekend. I don't give a fuck, man. Like I'm over all this like celebrity boxing stuff. Like I probably sound like a grumpy old man, but like I don't care. Like I didn't care about this fight. I watched it. I didn't pay for it, as I'm sure a lot of you didn't. The most exciting part of the fight was when Tyron almost knocked Jake Paul through the ropes and then was like, "Oh, I forgot I was paid to lose." Oops. Did I just break down the fourth wall for everybody? Yeah, this fight was fixed, just like the Ben Askren fight was. There's no mystery to it at all. Tyron Woodley was paid to lose, and he almost failed. He almost pulled like Brad Pitt in Snatch. You remember that movie, Jeff? Have you ever seen Snatch? Oh, Jeff, you have to watch Snatch. Add that to your list of movies that I've given you to watch. Mark Fellow said it was well worth the $0 he paid to watch. Yeah, this fight was fixed. For anybody who still believes in the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy, like there was nothing real about what you watched on Friday night. This was Jake Paul, who is very famous and very rich, paying a professional mixed martial arts fighter to take a dive in a boxing match. That's all you saw. If you saw anything other than that, I don't believe that you know what reality is. Do you have any thoughts on this, Jeff?
Absolutely not, Bill. I read about it the next day, and that was about all the energy I wanted to put towards it.
Yeah, look, everything was fake. Jake Paul's team messing with Tyron's mom, all fake, all orchestrated, all scripted. This is WWE stuff. Like, if you're into pro wrestling, I'll give you a pass for liking it. If you're not, you just don't live in the same plane of reality as the rest of us. Like, this was fake.
Bill, you're starting to sound like the Manimal when you say that.
Oh, the Manimal. We got to have him back. Shout out to Manimal. I fucking love that guy.
Yeah.
Bellator fighter, Longo Weidman, MMA fighter, Renzo Gracie, black belt. We got to have Manimal back on the show, man. He's such a good time. Go check him out on social media. I think it's Manimal MMA is his username. And I don't know, Jeff. I'm just finishing the show with like random guitar playing and angry drunken rants, unless you have anything else you want to say.
Bill, that's all I got for you this week, man. Enjoy your Labor Day. Everybody out there, have a happy and safe Labor Day. And don't work too hard, despite what the name may imply.
Yeah, it should be like don't Labor Day. Like don't be laborious today. All right, Jeff, should I play us out?
Let's do it.
What should I play?
Why don't you play something by Tenacious D?
Oh, the best song in the world?
It's a tribute, Bill.
Tribute. Funny that you say that because I was playing Stairway to Heaven before, and the song Tribute, for those who don't know, uses the same chord progression as Stairway to Heaven. So the song Tribute by Tenacious D is actually a nod to Led Zeppelin for creating the best song in the world. I don't know if you knew that. Did you know that, Jeff?
I did. It's almost like this song is a tribute to Stairway to Heaven.
It was the best song in the world. It was the best song in the world. It's the best song in the world. It's the best song in the world. And as we wind on down the road, our shadow is taller than our soul. I forget the rest of the words, so that's all you get. If you want to hear me sing, you have to be a Patreon subscriber, which I don't know if we even have. I don't know, Jeff. That's it, I guess. If you want to catch up with Jeff on social media, reach out to him at @animal_Wilson, Twitter and Instagram. And you guys know how to get a hold of me. I don't know why you would want to after this debacle, but here we are. Old Forester, sponsor me, please. I've been drinking Old Forester all afternoon, and they still haven't reached me out for a sponsorship. You guys know how to get a hold of me. MMA on the Rocks everywhere on social media. Jeff. Oh, Mark wants to pay me not to sing. You can absolutely do that, Mark.
That's an option.
I know how we can end the show, Jeff. We have the outro song with a video. So until next time, cheers, everybody. Goodbye.